Georgia, Michigan, two superpowers in college football. This would be a fun matchup, an intriguing matchup, regardless of what was on the line if this was just a regular bowl game. But it's a college football playoff, and both of these teams, for different reasons to a certain extent, want to win a national championship and get it done. For Michigan, it's been since 1997 when they split a national title with Nebraska. Of course, Georgia, the year 1980, and Herschel Walker is emblazoned all over the place among SEC and college football fans. Right here at the Voice of College Football, please share these videos out on social media. You enjoy the content, others will as well, and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. And let's get you set for Georgia and Michigan. And understand that we are doing the same with Cincinnati and Alabama. Please enjoy that video. And also, we are breaking down these matchups from a number of perspectives, not just these single videos, but we have tons of videos out there on both the main channel, the SEC channel, and the team-specific channels. And we've got a Michigan live show each and every week, and we are doing a live stream breaking down Michigan, Georgia with media from both sides. All right, let's dig into the matchup statistically. First, when Michigan is on offense against that great Georgia defense, how much can Michigan replicate what Alabama did? Because, of course, we know that Georgia was posting some of the greatest defensive numbers in modern college football history, and then Alabama lit them up for 41 points. Okay. Right out of the gate, the Michigan offense, more efficient and explosive than we would expect. What has impressed me about the Michigan offense is that Jim Harbaugh has been able to stamp his identity, his roots, what he believes about offensive football from his days being coached by Bo Schembechler on this Michigan team, but has been able to update it. So bring in Josh Gaddis a couple years ago, and it really hasn't worked being a quarterback-centric team. This team is leaning on the offensive line, a tough, bullish, talented offensive line. A running back by the name of Hassan Haskins, a former linebacker, switched to running back 2 years ago and is one of the best in the business and will just lean on a defense. Ask the Buckeyes. And then a change-up in Blake Corum. And then, one of the emerging players in college football, the number one rated running back coming out of high school in the 2021 class, Donovan Edwards. So the Michigan offense has maintained old school Bo Schembechler, Jim Harbaugh toughness and identity in run first, but this may surprise you. Michigan has more explosive plays of 30, 40, and 50 yards than Ohio State. They've been able to update the offense, keep their identity, update the offense, and be explosive. This team is averaging over 38 points per game. That's number 13 in the country against the great Georgia defense, of course, at number 1 in the country, despite giving up the 41 spot against Alabama, still 9.5 points per game. Strength on strength. Michigan running the football, top 10 in the nation, 224 yards a game against the Georgia rush defense, less than 82 yards given up per game. And also look at the yards rushing per attempt. Michigan in the top 10 in the nation at over 5.3 yards per carry. Georgia limits opponents to 2.61. The immovable object, the irresistible force is going on here. Michigan scores its touchdowns on the ground. Number 3 in the country in rushing touchdowns with 39. Georgia doesn't give up touchdowns on the ground. Only 3 the entire season. That's the best figure in the nation. Michigan passes the ball not much compared to other teams across college football, but effectively. Look at the yards per attempt, 31st in the nation out of 130 teams at over 8.3 yards per attempt. Georgia, though, pass defense, aside from Bryce Young, of course, very effective at only giving up 5.3 yards per pass attempt. That's the second best figure in the country. Michigan, 20 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, with both Cade McNamara and J.J. McCarthy contributing to those numbers. Georgia's only given up 8 touchdowns this entire season through the air with 12 interceptions. So the passer rating there for Michigan is solid at number 40 in the nation. But again, Georgia, the pass defense is exceptional. The passer rating against is the second best figure in all of college football, and they only give up just over 4 yards per play. That is, again, the number one figure in all of college football. Third down efficiency, Michigan's got a top 20 figure. Georgia is number 15 in the country. That is going to be key. We've got 2 top 20 units on third down efficiency, and we know that Michigan's not going to run all over Georgia and be able to convert before getting to a third down situation. So third down is going to be crucial. Fourth down may as well. Georgia doesn't give up first downs, only a little over 14 per game. That's number 2 in the nation. Michigan doesn't turn it over. Georgia doesn't get turnovers on defense, regardless of how good the defense is for Georgia. They are only number 61 in the nation in turning the football over as a defensive unit with 16 turnovers, but they've got an amazing red zone defense, number 1 in the country. But again, Michigan's number 7 in the country in scoring the ball 92% of the time once they get inside the 25-yard line. Much has been made about Georgia's schedule. Let's make it clear. No, Georgia did not play a slew of top opponents like Ohio State and Oklahoma or whomever you would like to put in that place. There are only a few of those teams out there. Keep that in mind. Georgia played an extremely deep schedule. Clemson's still really good at 9-3. Kentucky went 9-3. Arkansas is the best 8-4 team you're going to find out there, most likely anywhere in college football. It was a deep schedule. 10 bowl teams. Auburn, Tennessee, one of the best offenses in college football. A very deep schedule that Georgia had to face 10 bowl teams. And also keep in mind that UAB just got done playing a bowl game against a top 15 BYU team, and UAB beat them. Georgia won that game like 56-7. Now let's look at the Georgia offense against the Michigan defense. Georgia, much maligned offensively because of Stetson Bennett and because they're supposed to be outdated and they run the ball all the time and they only play action pass and they're really not innovative, but they're effective. 7th in the nation in points per game at 39 plus. Michigan, of course, defensively with Aiden Hutchinson and David Ajabo leading the way. Daxton Hill on the back end and Josh Ross and company. Junior Colson, number 4 in the nation in points against. So again, strength on strength. We are going to see this with playoff matchups. Georgia runs it effectively. Not one of the best figures in the country, but top 30. Michigan near the top 20 in rush defense. The averages are more important. Georgia's got the 15th best yards per carry average, and Michigan is at number 22. There you see the passing offense for Georgia. And what's important here is that they're only 32nd in the nation in passing. That's what most people look at 247 yards per game. But yards per attempt, Georgia's in the top 10 in the nation. Look out for George Pickens. Look out for Brock Bowers, of course, downfield against Michigan's secondary and linebackers and safeties in Bowers' case because Michigan defensively is top 5 in the nation in yards given up per attempt, per pass attempt. So really good pass defense. And most notably for Michigan, look down at the passer rating. Georgia, again, much maligned in the pass game by critics, but they are number 6 in the nation in passer rating, and Michigan is top 10 in passer rating defensively. Yards per play, Michigan in the top 5 in the nation, and Georgia, top 5 in the nation at 6.9 plus yards per play. On third down, both teams are capable. Michigan excels on third down defensively. And there you see the rest of the numbers, including red zone is key. Turnovers, Georgia doesn't necessarily protect the ball that well. They're number 55 in the country with 16 turnovers, 12 of those picks. But Michigan doesn't necessarily, they're not a Iowa-type ball-hawking defense. 61st in the nation, picking up 8 fumbles and 8 interceptions. You see the completion percentage. Michigan is one of the best in the country in limiting quarterbacks to less than 56% completion percentage. Special teams, both teams make their field goals. Michigan at 22 out of 24, a bit better than Georgia at 18 of 22. Interestingly enough, both teams blocked 4 kicks. The national lead was 6 blocked punts and field goals and PATs. Back to the schedule. Michigan, Georgia played very comparable schedules. They're also very comparable teams. If you really look at the offensive and defensive personnel, what they want to do offensively, what they do defensively, and what's important, you'll see Michigan and Georgia looking in a mirror. Back to the schedule. Ohio State, of course, is the best team that Michigan played. They played them at home. They were charged emotionally. I don't want to call it an aberration, but Michigan really slayed the dragon there, beat Ohio State, an FPI number 3 team in the country, even higher than Michigan, the Wolverines at number 4. Wisconsin was an early season effort on the road. That was a key game for Michigan, going on the road and beating a top 25 team. Wisconsin finished the season at 8-4. Penn State, despite the 7-5 record, the FPI does measure the quality here of Penn State against difficult opponents. Penn State's a quality team at number 14. Michigan State finished at 10-2 on the season, is playing in the Peach Bowl. Of course, that was Michigan's one loss of the season. Nebraska, number 34 in the country, despite a 3-9 record. If you follow the Huskers at all, you know the story behind that. Michigan barely won in Lincoln, as did everyone else, 32-29. Iowa, the Big Ten championship game, was actually Michigan's, according to the FPI, 6th most difficult opponent. And then you see the rest of the opponents on Michigan's schedule. They struggled against Rutgers, but that was a long time ago, and Michigan's a different team now, but they barely beat the Scarlet Knights 20-13 at home in that one. On to Georgia, and of course, the best team that Georgia faced, both statistically and historically, and the result on the scoreboard was the SEC championship game in Atlanta. Yes, Alabama, as a touchdown underdog, pulled off the upset in winning, going away in the fourth quarter, 41-24, according to the FBI. That is Georgia's equivalent to Ohio State taking on Alabama, but they didn't win the game. They got trucked in the fourth quarter. Clemson's still a quality team, and Georgia played them at their best. This is before Clemson got really banged up on both sides of the football. As we know, that was a defensive slugfest, 3-3 ball game. Georgia got the pick 6 that proved decisive. That was the touchdown in the game. Otherwise, it was a stalemate. Georgia won it 10-3. This Arkansas team that Georgia played, consider that they could not even run their offense. Georgia was blowing up plays. This is when I knew Georgia had an elite defense. I saw it against Clemson, and then a couple weeks later against an Arkansas team that just bloodied Texas, and then a week after going to Athens and getting annihilated 37-0, in which they couldn't even run their offense. Georgia was just blowing up plays in the backfield, play after play after play. That Arkansas put up 51 against Ole Miss, and you may think the Rebels don't have a good defense. They actually do have a decent defense, and Arkansas put up 51. Arkansas is a really good team, top 30 team according to the FPI, and I think they're much better than that, actually. Tennessee was putting up points against everybody. Georgia gave up a first drive touchdown and then didn't give up another touchdown until the game was over, 45-17. Auburn's a decent team. They only finished 6-6, but a brutal schedule. Again, the Georgia schedule, they didn't play elite competition, aside from Alabama at the end, but Clemson and Arkansas are legit top 15 teams in the country. I have no doubt about that. Kentucky's a team that played Georgia tough into the second half. They're a 9-3 ball club that we will see on New Year's Day against Iowa. Even Florida, at the time that Georgia was playing them, the Gators were playing pretty good football at that point. So you look at the Georgia schedule, you see 10 bowl teams, and Georgia cleaned the clock with all of them except for Alabama and the close game against Clemson. Our breakdown of Georgia, Michigan should be a good one. College football playoff. Your thoughts below right here at the Voice of College Football. Please like the video, share the videos out on social media, and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football.